It's time for all things racing and Jesus with your hosts, Daniel Hillian and Mitch Reynolds.
That's right, man. It is episode 59 here from the Remain in the Race studios. It's been a hot minute, but it's good to be back on the mics. Across the table from me, Mitchell the Rocket Reynolds. How we doing tonight, Mitchell?
What's up? I'm ready to get back to it, Super D. It has been a minute. It's been a minute. Quite a few minutes, actually.
Quite a few.
I know we've tried to get together, and life's been busy, but it hasn't been busy. We haven't gotten together.
Right.
But excited to get back to talking some EDT racing, and excited that we have our return co-host for like the 5th or 6th, 7th time. I'm not counting.
Yeah.
But he's a regular now.
Landon Williams, what's up?
Yeah, man, just happy to be here.
Happy to be here, man. Plumber this evening. Got to do a little plumbing work.
Yeah.
Electrician, plumber.
Had a toilet go down. So new wax ring, all the stuff is great.
It's a champ now.
Happens when you are, sinking those protein submarines. They'll just put one right out.
Or Red Bulls.
Or that's exactly. So that Red Bull that just doesn't process very well,
Well, I've got some jokes, but we'll get there when we get there. But man, it is good to be back, and as always, got to give a shout out to the people that make it possible for us. 88 Live to Ride, man. What a great year Miss Debbie has had. The auction went well. Looking forward to the 25 season. Ryland Johnson Racing, get those resumes in. Sponsorship is open through the end of the month, and so get those in to Ryland, and Jamie will look them over. And then I'll just randomly draw out 4 or 5, and that's who gets sponsored. I'm kidding. That's not how that works. But get those in. All Terrain Motorsports. Man, our man Kevin Allen Cleveland just purchased a new facility. He is upgrading his shop, and we're super excited for him. So got to give him a little shout out. 110% nutrition, man. This is the time. During the off season, you don't ever think about staying hydrated and stuff, but it's just as important. So, man,
it's bulking season.
That's
it's
right.
A great opportunity to increase your strength.
Bulking up, putting on my winter coat,
bulking in one way or another.
Right.
I'm on that good whey protein right now and that creatine. So
that's right.
I'm enjoying my 110%
Speaking of which,
nutrition.
Use our code Remain at checkout to save. I saw our co-host from season 1, Mr. Ryan Havens, a couple weeks ago. Saw him. Be honest, it was a Sunday morning. No, it was a Saturday morning, and I was grabbing some donuts for the kids. I did have one. It was fantastic. But I saw Ryan in there, and dude, it's like he ate his old self. That dude has put on like 40 pounds of muscle and is just a meathead. Yeah. So shout out to Ryan. Whatever you're doing, keep it up.
He's put on like 50, actually. But yes, you were close.
I mean, and of course, hey, man, what just is, same old guy, but I was just like, dude, you are thick.
He is. He's taking
thick.
It to a different level.
Yeah.
And I've actually been using the MyFitnessPal. Like, my blood work, everything was phenomenal, except for my LDL. My LDL number was not good. And I'm like,
to the layperson, please explain to them
so
what we all know. We know.
I knew you know.
Right.
So it's that bad cholesterol. You want that HDL number to be on up there. You want the whole number
I'm all
to
about
be low.
HD.
Yeah,
HD, baby.
The HD, that high def. That high diff, but the LDL, we don't want that low stuff.
Okay.
So my numbers were a little janky,
okay.
like not good right there.
Right.
So I've started logging my food on MyFitnessPal to kind of just see how I eat and whatever, and log all this stuff. And so I'm 21 days in, but Ryan sends me a deal this week. He's like day 600 on logging every meal that he eats.
Well, I know when we went to Black Ankle, his diet consisted of packages of tuna fish and there was something else weird that he just every 2 hours he was eating a package of tuna fish.
Yeah, I don't know. It must have been something easy to log in the MyFitnessPal is all I know.
And then later that evening we were trying to get going or something, and I don't know if that tuna fish had kind of settled to the bottom of the old stomach, and he hit some coffee. And let me tell you, when that coffee hit that tuna fish, he could blow the hair off a dog. It was I was like, Ryan, if this is what it takes to get in shape, I am OUT out. Unbelievable. And then on the airplane, he blamed it on some junior high girls and said it was incredible. Anyways, 110% nutrition. Use our code REMAIN at checkout. Phoenix Handlebars, man, this is the time. You got your winter build going on. You can get on their website if there's a specific brand and style you like, which you should. You can get on
or Bend. You may mean
absolutely.
Because Phoenix is the brand that
That's
we're going with, but the Bend.
Yeah, if there's another brand you like, but you want to run a Phoenix, you can get on their
comparison.
website. Yeah, and compare.
Yes,
yep.
You're absolutely right, Super D. I'll shut my mouth over.
That's
Keep
fine.
going.
No, you're all good. But use our code. Please go there. Or if you have questions, man, I know Kelly Rhodes had some questions. Reached out to Jason Gerald, and he said, "Dude, he's super cool." I said, "Yeah, man, Jason's a great guy." So reach out. RITR 15. I kind of got hung in gear there.
That's all right.
At Phoenix Handlebars. Also, SOFABRAND MX, great stuff. We love it. We love the leggings, the whole kit and caboodle. It is great material. It lasts. We're here for it. RTRP at checkout. And man, it's been cool. A little shout out to Josh Klein at PH3 Photos. Man, he'd put out a lot of really cool edits. So
he did really good.
And now he's into hockey, which I just think is hilarious. Because I'm like, I don't even know what this sport is, but I watch all the things he puts out because I'm like, what is going on? But I support Josh, and it's good stuff. So Kaiser wheels, man, great wheels. They're lightweight. They're super cool. Tyler Allen's rocking them. Chucky Creech is rocking them. Dylan Jones has got some. So yeah, Kaiser wheels, check them out. Cane brake, cause for concern. I do have a couple things. I think I have a good concern. It's just a concern to me.
Our concerns are never like super bad.
No. It's not. No. It's not a rant. It's not malicious. It's just, hey, this is concern. We need to address this thing.
Yeah, but let's answer the question here.
Right. We'll get there when it's time. Dragon Race Fuels and Close Encounter Whitetail Outfitters. By the way, go check out some of Eric's posts. He's taken some clients out. Some of the race family has gone out and killed some pretty sweet deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's got it made up there.
Yeah. Eric is living the dream, that's for sure. But so before we jump into some EDT stuff, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, Mitch, there off the top. But other than just kids in life, anything been going on with you guys, or anything you want to?
Well, I mean, it has been a better part of a month. Ryder finished his first 7th grade football season, so that was fantastic. 30-0 against Valonia that last game. For those people outside of here, Valonia and Greenbrier, big rival. I mean, my wife is from Valonia, but huge rivals.
That's fun.
And so to win against your rival is a great way to end your season.
A winning season is you only have to beat Valonia.
That's right.
You can lose every game. You just have to beat Valonia.
Yeah, they did. They ended 7-3, and Valonia opened up the season by beating them. And they closed out the season by blanking them. So it was
good.
It was definitely was a good deal.
Yeah, and one of the first times our man Ryder was not a 3-7, he doubled up that 3, and he was the number 6-7.
That's right.
So
the first Reynolds lineman. So yes, that is indeed.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool to see him out there having fun though, but doing the football thing. River started basketball. We've done a little bit of hunting in there, gone up and hunted some whitetail up north of here just a little bit, but, still trying to stay in touch and with the racing world. So, yeah. What about you fellas?
Well, I don't want to go. You got anything, Landon? I was going to touch on the little trip we went on here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, man, let's get to it.
All right. So we have, if you go back and listen to one of our previous episodes this year, we visited with the Pullen brothers, and they are GNCC racers. And so 2 years ago, when we kind of got the pod going, I signed up and went. And Landon went too. Him and Kevin Allen and Connor came up. And Landon was going to ride, but the machine he looked at, and he's like, I don't think that will make it one lap. And I don't want to have to pay for all the stuff I'm going to break. So I'm just going to be here. And I ended up breaking down. And so just beginning of the season, the Pullen said, Landon, come up and ride. And Landon's like, okay, well, I'll come up. And I told Landon, I said, well, I want redemption. The last time I went, I made it 16 minutes into a 2-hour race, so I'd like to try again. And so we cut out on a few weeks ago for the Ironman GNCC. Left here, easy drive up there, man, and get settled in. And big shout out, got to give a huge shout out to Jason and Rachel Daniels. They are our parents when our parents aren't around. And they let us stay in their camper. I am upset, and I told Jason I was going to say this on the podcast. He still didn't care, but they've got a fifth-wheel toy hauler. Of course, they're sleeping up in the front. Their son Braden's got like a little nest cubby, and then Landon and I are like sleeping in the garage. And so it's late. We get laid down, and, of course, I yell up to Jason, Jason! And he goes, what? I said, will you come tuck me in? No. And so I said, hey, I got to let people know, man, you won't come tuck your friend in. And he's like, yeah, you'll be all right. So anyways, big thank you to Jason and Rachel, man. They took care of us, fed us. I mean, it was really, really awesome. So thank you to them for letting us come and hang out. I did tell Rachel I did steal one of her washcloths and towels, because once the race was over, it looked like there was like a muddy homicide all over the towel and washcloth. I said, I'm just going to get on Amazon and ship you some new ones. So she said, well, I just wash them. It's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not good. So big shout out to them.
Just mud on there, baby.
Yeah. But we make the trek up to Ironman and just have a ball. And Adam McGill was trying to drum up, say, hey, man, let's get a bunch of these 250Rs out here. And Mr. Rocket Racing,
yes,
DJ, what's his last name?
Sperling.
I
don't. Yeah, DJ Sperling. I'm thinking Dwayne Sperling in my mind, but
that's his name.
His name he goes by DJ though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just blanked out for a second. Yeah, DJ and I are good buddies. Go way back.
Yeah, got to meet, and he was talking about racing mods with you and JR and Cody, and so we stood and talked to him for an hour. It was great. But he ended up through some wheeling and dealing, got the 250R his dad raced, and he kind of revived it. So you can go back and look on some of Adam's posts, and you'll see it in there. But our Bullet Quad that won the Builders Brawl in 23, they had it there. Like, we were bringing it home with us. It was at the Pullen's house, and we were bringing it home. And so Adam said, yeah, man, bring that thing down here. So you can kind of see it in the background. So that was cool at the GNCC to see some of what we do there, and people coming by and checking it out and stuff. So that was super, super cool. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened on Friday that was just kind of
Friday, just kind of leading up. We just hung out,
stood in line for 15 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Ironman is insane. It's the biggest GNCC. But yeah, shout out to the Pullens as well. They let me ride a bike.
They did.
So appreciate them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So shout out to the Pullens and the Daniels. They took care of us. They're good people. So we'll fast forward to race day. Get up, get going. It's cold. I mean, it is cold. It's in like the 30s.
It's chilly going to the line.
And I'm like,
it's like 30, supposed to warm up to 60 by the end of our race, So it's like, go up there with a hoodie, take it off. Hopefully somebody will take it back for you.
Yeah. You just see someone walking, like, you going by? Here, take my hoodie, and just or lay it over the fence. But so I don't know. I'm sure some of our listeners, if you're into what we do, you probably also follow the supercross and motocross scene maybe a little bit. You've probably heard the name Ryan Villapoto or Damon Bradshaw. Some of you may know the name Darkside or Jamie Guida. So these are dirt bike guys that they get to talking with Johnny Gallagher at Loretta's or something, somewhere along the way. They get to talking around a campfire one night, and they convince each other that they can race quads like anybody else. There's more to the story, and this is kind of the Cliff Notes version. And so we line up, and so in our row, we rode Sportsman A, and we looked down our road with our buddy Dylan Cruisenberry was there on a Yamaha. And so there are more people in our class. There's like 75 people in
Just in Sportsman A.
In Sportsman A. And
there's
I'm
like 500 people overall.
Yeah.
In just the morning race, there's 500 racers that are all going to be on the track at the same time. So the first lap is nuts. Okay.
Yeah,
so they take off by row. So the 4x4 Pro takes off. There goes all these Harleys in the wood because they're all V twins, So they take off. And then it's either a minute or 30 seconds later, women's pro class takes off. They all take off. It's either a minute or 30 seconds later, the all-star class. Now, this is the class that it's by age and displacement, but like our boy Bryce Pullen, he races this class on it's a RJR
250
Walsh,
hybrid.
250 hybrid. It's awesome looking machine. It is. Go check out his social media. It's great. And then the next class was like the Warrior,
it was a senior class,
a senior class,
45 plus, something like that.
And then Sportsman A. So we look up, and in the Warrior class is Damon Bradshaw and Ryan Villapoto and all these guys, I guess they were doing like a industry type class, and Mark Notman was there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was cool.
Barry Hawk as well.
Barry Hawk. Yeah. Barry Hawk.
Wow.
Just Barry Hawk shows up, you know,
Yeah.
and Dark Side. And so at the last minute, they moved them out of the row in front of us to our row. So now our class had 70. Now there's like 76 in our class because there was just 5 or 6 of them they moved down, okay? And so they're holding up this ribbon. The class in front of us goes. So we're the next group to go.
Yeah, it's
all
just
right?
like a caution tape, and there's probably
5, 6 guys.
Yeah, 5, 6 guys spread out through this cornfield.
Yes.
And they're holding everybody back.
Except these 5 or 6 guys. And Johnny Gallagher, Ryan's man, he says that's a throwback to season 1. But he kind of looks, and we're seeing him. He's telling.
I just picked up on what you said.
He's telling everybody. He's saying, "Hey, y'all, don't go. Just these 5 are going. Don't go." Well, that message didn't get down to the other 68 riders at the other end of the field.
Yeah.
And so, even though these guys are standing there with their arms out, holding caution tape, going, "Hey, don't go," they throw the flag for just these 6 to go. So the 6 to our far right take off, and then Landon and I look to our left. There goes about 6 or 7 in our class that are not supposed to go. They take off. Well, then some other guys are like, "Oh, they're going. Whoa, we gotta go!" And so it's just like
it was like 6 or 7, and then like 7 or 8, and then like 20 more, and then maybe a group of 15. And then I look at Daniel and I'm like, "We gotta go, man."
I guess.
But the funny thing about it is me and Daniel had already decided, we're like,
Yes.
since there's 70 people here, they're not really going to do anything to you. We're not in any points paying class, nothing like that. So we're already like, yeah, we're just going to jump the start just a little bit, maybe even have the bike running. It's a dead engine start, and we're just going to take off.
We had already told everyone in our group, we're cheating. We're going to jump the start.
Well, when everybody done this, it just kind of ruined
The
idea.
joke was on y'all.
Yeah, the joke's on us, and it's like
so we go into the woods, and we're absolutely buried. We're probably 50th,
Yeah.
And so it just makes catch up. But, hey, I did get to pass Ryan Villapoto. He is awful on a quad.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, I passed Ryan Villapoto and Damon Bradshaw.
Did he have his leg out?
No. No. So I
great.
actually followed him in the woods for a while because, it's just the first lap is absolute chaos. And so we're all bottled up behind him. But he looked decent in the woods. But, man, whenever he got out in the fields, it's like he's trying to go through a corner standing up. And finally, there's a whole gang of us. We passed him. But we're going through this field section, and he gets to the inside of this corner, and then he just stops. And then he makes his way around the corner. You could tell he's just freaking out. It was absolutely great.
Yeah,
I gave him a big fist pump, and blew his doors off.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally 500 racers in this 2-hour race. So when you start, by the time you get into the woods, even if you get the whole shot in your class, you're catching the tail end of the class in front of you. And everybody's just floating the valves because they're wanting you to get out of the way. And it's like, where do you want me to go? There's 500 people out here,
Yeah.
And so the first,
It's like a complete traffic jam. Yes, I'll let you around.
Yeah.
You're going to move 15 feet.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what happens is you'll get somebody behind you, like you said, just floating the valves on you, mainly Yamaha riders. But
God. Every time it's a Yamaha rider.
But this guy will be behind you, just
We're
screaming.
not Honda guys here or anything.
He's screaming, and I should be. I scream at everybody, so it is what it is.
Landon's also screaming.
Mr. Scream.
Yeah. But I'm like, dude, where are you gonna go? Like,
and then they're trying to
people
pass
everywhere.
you, and it's like there's literally 2 trails. They're full of ATVs right now. Where do you want me to go? Yeah, and it's just nuts. Okay?
So at what point does this start to spread out? Like half a lap in?
No, I'd say
lap 3.
lap
Oh my
2 or
gosh.
3. But you're never riding by yourself.
There's always someone.
There's always
someone is
somebody.
always catching you, or you're always catching someone. Now, if you're good like Landon and I, ain't nobody catching you. You're always catching. I'm just kidding, dude. I was getting my doors blown.
Dude.
I had old guys, taking Geritol, drinking Ensure that were passing me. It was terrible. But it was not good.
I need to get on that Ryan Havens deal because, man, I'm out of shape. It was terrible. I was telling Daniel, I had some conversations with myself. Like, usually they're kind of in my head, but I was talking out loud. Like, dude, just come on, you got this. You can finish. And I felt just pathetic.
My leg, my back, it all hurt.
All of it.
My
All of
back, dude. I just crawled off the Fuller after.
So we get going, and it kind of starts to thin out a little. I'm probably 3-4 miles in. I think it was a 12-mile track. They say it's 12 miles. It could have been like 9, and they just put 12 markers out there.
Well, they got 12 miles, but they cut off just a little bit for Ironman Hill because
That's right.
AM
That's
didn't
right.
do it.
That's right. So I'm probably lap 3 or 4. I had just made some good passes. I kind of got hung up by some guys. Get around, and I'm blowing through some turns. And before we left, I thought I had a set of steel braided brake lines. I said I need to put those on. Just my front brakes are a little squishy. You know, I like a stiff lever. You know,
It's not a Behringer, but yes,
it's not. But after Ironman, I was like, I'm ordering one on the way home.
I'm getting a Behringer on the way home.
On the way home, yeah. And so I kind of blew a corner a little bit, and my front tire just smashes a tree, and I just hear, psh, and I'm like, oh no, I just blew a shock. No, I popped a front tire, and I was just thinking, hey, I've got a brand new set of tires on. It'll be fine for Ironman. There's nothing. There's a couple of rocky spots, but it won't be bad. It'll be fine. And I popped a front tire, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is 2 years in a row. And I was like 100 yards from where I broke down the first time. And I was like, and I got so mad. I was like, I'm loading. Landon can find his own way home. I'm going home. And then I thought,
getting out of this place.
And again, having those conversations out loud with yourself. And I'm like, dude, you drove all the way here, just limp it around. And my nephew Tyson was bringing his four-wheeler. He lives in Indiana. And so we were taking his four-wheeler home. So I limp it, the other 10 miles back to where our pit was. And I pull up and I said, hey, go get me a front tire off your four-wheeler. And Billy and Jason and Brody are there. I mean, there's a whole crew of, people there to help. And I just, I tried to ride fast where I could. And let me tell you, I could turn to the left like nobody's business. If there was a field section with all left-handed corners, I was blowing people's doors off.
You could have rode short track.
Oh, yeah. To the right, I couldn't turn it off. It was pathetic. And so I limp it around another lap. They get me a front tire put on. It's like a 40-minute pit stop. My guys, they were working as fast as they could, and they did a great job, and I'm very grateful for them. But it just took forever, And Landon comes in, and he gets fuel, and he's gone, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll see him when the race is over, But let me tell you, with all the tires aired up, Ironman's pretty fun track. It wasn't that bad. And so
after you experienced like 22 miles of flat tire, it gave you a new respect
riding
for air and tires.
A three-wheeler as a four-wheeler, it's not fun. It's not good. So I should have put tire ball. It's my own fault. I know. I should have switched the brake lines. I had all these things I should have known. And so we're going back. We're going back.
Ironman 2, Daniel 0.
Yeah,
but he's coming back for more.
But the funniest thing is, and I haven't been, cycling like every day, but I try to every week ride at least once. But man, when we get back to the truck, Landon is just like, I'm dying, and I mean, we rode hard and it ended up being a beautiful day for riding, but my thighs hurt so bad. I was like, this is why, like, my arms weren't that tired and my hands weren't that tired, like what you would think would be tired. It was my thighs. And
it had to be the flat front tire. You were
that's all it could be.
overcompensating.
That's all it could be.
With the
I
phenomenal
agree.
shape that you're in.
Thank you.
It had to be the front tire.
That's all it could have been.
That's exactly what it was.
But let me tell you, it was so cool just to see that many motorsports enthusiasts, geeks, nerds, crackheads, whatever you want to call what it is we do. And there's some aerial photos, and you can go look them. But man, like, there's probably 40 acres of nothing but toy haulers and toter homes and pickups and tents and I was like, oh wow, the sport is doing fantastic.
Yeah, the
right?
sport
Absolutely.
of ATVs, dirt bikes, everything is very well alive.
Love
And
it.
so I think Landon ended up finishing. Do you remember what you were overall? 90 something?
No, like I said, they got me for 3 laps, and I done 4. So
Yeah.
they had a little problem with transponders, but there's 500 people out there.
Yeah.
So
You
really
were
can't-
ahead of me, and I was like
really
at
can't complain.
110 or 116 overall.
He finished the race.
That's right. We did.
I finished the race.
Yeah.
You made it 16 minutes last time Super D. It's 1-1. I mean, it might have taken a tire.
Yeah.
You got half a win there because you finished the race.
I
so.
was pumped. Afterwards, I was like, this is a win for me.
Yeah.
I just loved it that we were both, and we had told people, we're like, hey, like, film it. We're going to jump the start. When they say 10 seconds, I'm going. Like, it's going to be obvious that I jump. But what's really cool is our man, Bryce Pullen, he was the third row to take off. And once they adjust the time for, hey, who did the race the fastest, he ended up winning the overall from the third row.
That's cool.
On a 250, which is super. It's been, guys have done it before, but it's not like it happens all the time.
Man, that is really
super
cool.
Super cool for Bryce to do that.
Bryce.
Super.
Love it, man. Well,
yeah,
that's super cool.
So Ironman was fantastic, and so then we can kind of transition. On the way home, we were trying to keep up with EDT because it was the Dresden. They had rescheduled for that, and let me tell you, I think it was quite a different weather-wise, because if you'll remember, Mitch, when we were there, we never left the press box.
Right, we were up there because it was a scorcher.
There were people with kiddie pools, you know, full of water because it was so hot, and man, there's guys racing in hoodies and all kinds of other stuff. So it was definitely a different experience. I know Eric was having some connectivity issues because it would be streaming, and that's what there was times that we were on the way home, we were trying to keep up, and it was like, hey, we're live. Oh, we're not live. Hey, we're live. We're not live. So
should have been up in the press box. You know, it was good up there, but you know, they did have short track, so they had the last short track race there, so they handed out the championships there, and then followed that up with the TT racing. So what did you guys see from Dresden, just in the moments trying to keep up with what was going on? Got any big takeaways? I mean, we're going to talk champions here in just a little bit, because many championships, actually all the championships, were handed out at this race, and the awards will be taking place here at the banquet here in just a couple weeks. But at Dresden, is there anything that just popped out to you guys?
Looked slick.
Slick.
Is what I seen.
Yeah, as we were driving home, Landon's like, oh, boy, it looks slick.
That's crazy, because it had like a decent amount of tack, but there was quite a bit of rain before we were there the first time, so I guess that could factor in.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, they were in a drought up there, too. I mean, everywhere was in a
that's
drought.
true.
I mean, it was, nothing had moisture.
Yeah, so that probably led to those conditions. One that kind of jumped out to me, Mr. Carter Buff, off the couch to the podium there in the Open Pro-Am or Pro-Am Open, however, we can't even figure out which way we want to call that.
Yeah, that's a good ride. And that's tough to do.
Especially with the competition the way it is. We've seen CJ and the dominance that he's really had of late these last couple of years, and Brad, Mr. Consistency, and Tyler King kicking it in there, and Jace White really showing us some things, and Garrett in there competing. And I mean, there's more names, but just to show up, for him to show up and get on the podium after, obviously been missing basically all season. This is the first race we've seen him at, to come out there and show us, hey guys, I might have been parked for a little bit, but I still got this thing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I think I was trying to pull it up here. I'm trying to get my internet to go here, but I thought he had, I knew he'd come to Dresden, but that's the
only one I recall seeing him at.
He rode pro at Pine Lake.
Okay,
I thought there was one more. Yeah,
he did show up at Pine Lake. Both of the Pine Lakes?
No, just the second one.
The second one.
Yeah, road pro class got seventh again. Basically a month later at Dresden, sixth in the Hoosier class, and then third in the Pro-Am Open class. Which, I mean, that is a great point there, Mitch. He did do awesome. Tell you what, though, one of the, I follow these guys hot and heavy, but our all-star and super mini class, man.
I was hoping that's where you're going next, because that's exactly where my mind was going.
Yeah, Dallas Martin on top in, let's see, I'm looking at the super mini right now, but it was Dallas, Jackson, Carson Whalen, Austin, Vinny, Corbin, Charlie, Miss Smith, and Anthony Dorick. where you're top 10 there. And then just for kicks and giggles, we're going to jump over to Youth All-Star, and you just take all those results and you just shake them up real good and dump them out, and that's how they finish this next one.
That's
but,
right.
Corbin didn't have the best super mini, and so he's like, you know what? I'll just go win the All-Star. And he does, Carson had a great weekend. He was on the podium both times, as was Dallas Martin. And then, Jackson, he gets a one, wins the Super Mini, and then a fourth. And I'm telling you, man, these guys right here, if they will stick with it and just keep grinding, they're going to have so much racecraft because they're all riding, a little bit. Maybe this one bike's got a little more horsepower, but it's a little heavier. Well, this one's a little lighter, but it's a little more ride. There's all these different things that are only going to help these guys down the road be better and better and better. I'm here for this class.
Well, you think about the level of competition. It's not like they're competing with one or two other guys. Right. I mean, really, there are 5, 6, 7, 8 of these guys that can win. You shuffle it up. And so you've got to be on top of your game. And, that's just pushing your level. You think about if there's a point in your racing career where you're just kind of, you're just doing the thing. You're only showing up and competing with one other person. Like, you don't really elevate, right? I mean, you just do what you can do. But when there's always other people challenging, like, you've constantly got to find that little bit extra in your racecraft setup and, all the combo together. But it's really cool to see that, coming home with a championship in the Youth All-Stars, Corbin Beasley, and in Super Mini, it was Jackson Burchett. It was really these two guys on these JB mods that I felt as we were nearing the end of the year that one of these guys were going to do it, and they just split the difference,
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It's really cool that both those boys go home with a championship, and that's not to discredit all the other fast people in this class, but they really kind of separated themselves, or attempted to, there at the end of the season, and those consistent finishes just in those last few rounds really, was what led to them winning those respected championships.
Two things I noticed about these two guys, and I had to really do some digging. One, they're both on JB mods, and JB's close to our heart. My new cross country build, I'm JB PEP all the way around, man.
Right,
it's just, I just love it. All right, so that's one. That's one. Is they're JB mods. Two, neither one of them wear gloves.
I don't know about
can't
that.
get behind that one.
I'm like, because my man Connor. We tell Connor all the time, you'll go faster if you wear gloves. And the last cross country race, he ended up, I think he got second, or he won.
Yeah,
he ended up winning and wore gloves. So I said, told you, you'll go faster, you wear gloves. Well, the guys in his class that just won 2 championships, neither one of them wear gloves. And I was like, what in the world? I know there's probably people that listen to this. They're like, oh, dude, he's got the inside scoop. Oh, they don't wear gloves? Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I like to build it up.
I'm sure they don't wear knee pads either. Like,
No.
if I didn't wear gloves and knee pads, I would be done.
Man.
Like, absolutely demolished, done.
I'm with you, dude. Even my knee pads at Ironman, they twist, and so started the race they're good. Well, then they start turning, and then the edge of the knee pad starts, and it was not good.
One important thing though that we have, if we look in Super D's book of knowledge, or Super D's life lessons, I'm not sure what to name the book yet. But I have learned that you definitely take your gloves off to dust off the dirt.
That's right.
Before you get on the line.
Or
you use the back of the glove.
Yeah. Don't use the palm.
So Super D is pro gloves.
Pro gloves.
Always. But don't wipe the start with your gloves.
No.
Because when they get sweaty, they're going to get muddy.
That's right.
So
it's going to be harder to hold on, arm pump. Yeah. I'm trying to help you guys. Why do y'all keep doing this?
No, I'm with you. That's why I wanted to reiterate for those who've missed it. Who missed the episode that was great, that we kind of introduced Super D's book of knowledge.
Cause for concern, man.
I was going to say, was that a cause for
concern? That was a cause
for concern. All right, we're getting off track here. A little bit, a group of guys that we brag about them all the time, but, dude, it's so cool to see the future of the sport. So, of course, we go to the Super Mini All-Stars because those guys are just crazy. But a group of men and some ladies that are just a few years down the road is the junior 200, junior 12 to 15 class, and then the majority of these guys also ride the 200, 400 class. And so kind of the guys that have been on the top there is Wes Stanley, Trevin White, and Dylan Jones. Those three have just been going at it. But what's cool is at Dresden. Asher Bures gets in there and gets him a win. So I was pumped for Asher. Then it's Wesley and then Dylan were your top three there. So this is another really awesome. And, of course, Aubrey Walker, always.
Absolutely.
She was back on her KTM this go around.
Yeah, needless to say, though, the pro class coming up, these guys right here, it's in good hands. I mean,
yeah.
Some stiff competition and going to have some good things to look forward to for years to come.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I know a lot of times, you know, you go through seasons of life where it's like, hey, this is what's important to me. It could be ball, it could be this, and you get in a race season. Some of them are like the Creeches, they're going to race for life, you know.
That's right.
And some people kind of come and go, but I really hope a lot of these young men and women really stick it out because it could really make for some great racing. Yes. I mean, you look at the pro class this year, the number of guys like Brad and Chucky that have been around since before the dinosaurs. And then you've got, you know, a young guy coming in like Tyler King or Tyler Allen, you know, that are coming in and really putting it together. You know, Garrett's still a young guy, but he's been around. Like, he's a veteran, you know. And then you look at Jace White, you know, he gets a win, dude, and he's 18, 19 years old. You know?
Just graduated high school.
Yeah, I don't mean this any offense to Chucky or Brad, but they may have been in the pro class as long as some of these guys have nearly been alive. Like,
yes.
Like a
yes,
Tyler King, I'm not sure his age. Probably
he's 21.
Okay, I was thinking.
I was going to call him 23.
Well,
he's early.
23.
He's early 20s.
So Jace White, I
but
think,
yeah,
is
Jace
younger
is
than
18
him.
or 19.
Yeah. So
he just graduated high school.
I'm pretty sure that Brad or Chucky's been in the pro class for at least that long.
They were racing pro when I was doing the nationals in 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. So they've been around. But okay, so all those guys, man, that's exciting. But I mean, we talked about him in the last time, but our boy Joey Mickley, man, who just had a birthday, I believe it was the end of last week. So happy birthday, Joey. Man, I'm super excited for this guy because he kind of moved up the ranks and then he got to this like pro-am level, you could say, and he kind of struggled a little bit, but man, dude, this season he has put a program together, and it's really paid off. So I am super, super pumped for him. Another up-and-coming guy, Levi Hurley, Melissa Torchio. I mean, she's been racing for a long time, but mixing it up, and I wanted to look at something. Yeah.
Hey, you know, Mr. Joey Mickley taking home 3 championships for the year. Ends up winning Pro Light, Open A, and College Boy. And our teammate's really holding it down.
That's
he's really
right, he
done
is.
good.
Yep.
I know he's focused a little bit more on TT this year, but you know he still rides that MX. So
he does.
And that's got to be the same with. We're gonna have him on the pod before too long. But Mr. Corbin Beasley, elbows up. I'm gonna say we're gonna dig in, and I'm gonna have another motocrosser mark in my book. You know, of cross trainers. So it will. To be told, I don't know. I'm not. I just can tell by the way his elbows
TBD.
are up.
Okay, to be determined.
Elbows up.
Yep. How about a Midwest guy we're a big fan of? Old Dagan Crouch. He gets the win in the pro light class. So I mean, I was pumped for him too. Here's the deal. I'm a fan of everybody. I'm not a fan of anyone.
This is very true. Yep.
And I just. Like when one of the guys do good, I'm so pumped for that guy. Then it could be that guy's biggest enemy, and I'm like, I'm so happy for that guy too, you know. But hey, you know, another class that's just fun to watch, that Masters class, the plus 45.
You have mentioned that before, yeah,
dude. They are Craven Hewitt still has the coolest hybrid out there. The 400EX chassis, it's sick. I mean,
you do like it.
I do.
But how about Mr. Tiffer Burris winning it and the plus 35?
That's pretty cool. Remember Ken Marco back in the day?
Absolutely.
He would win like the plus 40, plus 30, plus 25.
And Ken was from Wisconsin.
He was.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep. Rode a Banshee for a long time, then got a Yamaha 4-stroke. Yeah.
Ken
was the man.
What a staple in the sport. But Mr. Tiffer Burris is your amateur Riders Cup champion.
Ooh.
Do you know who your Youth Rider Cup champion is? Do you know who she is? She stole your heart as she sent it off the tabletop at Black Ankle.
Oh, that's right. It was the 007
of Kinley Reed. She is your Youth Riders Cup
well deserved
champion for 2024.
I think sorry, I just like snorted in the microphone. I apologize. I'm gonna have to edit that out.
No, don't edit it.
But
It's
there
good.
was something when we were at Pine Lake back in the summer. Miss Renee was like, "Hey, you said something on the pod, and it's kind of coming to fruition." And I am sarcastic. I am super sarcastic. It's in my blood, whatever.
No.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, you know that thing's a big board joking." Well, they got protested, and it was totally legal. And she goes, "Yeah, I think people were listening, going, oh, she's running a big bore." And I'm, no, it's just a joke. So.
If I recall the conversation right, she's like, "Which one of you said it?" You
Yeah,
know, like-
yeah.
And I'm like, I
Had
don't
to
know.
have been Landon.
Yeah.
Had to have been Landon.
It was definitely Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
No,
we
it was
don't even know
I'll
what
take
to
the blame.
100% me.
We're like, we say a lot of things we don't remember.
No, I don't know what I had for breakfast, you know. Something was going on today, and they said, "What about this?" And I go, "Guys, that was 2.5 years ago. I don't know what I ate for breakfast this morning, so I definitely don't remember that." But man, it has been an awesome, awesome season. Our boy CJ Robson does it again. I mean, if there's a championship to get in, he's winning it.
Man.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, all but one. All but one.
Oh, that's right. I
all-
keep forgetting about that pesky one.
That pesky one that he
That
just
adult pro 90.
he just couldn't do it over Aaron.
couldn't do it. His boy Aaron gets the dub.
Now, you know, the thing is in that class, there may or may not be
An unbelievable amount of cheating.
maybe.
I mean,
I'm not sure. You know, there
cause for
are some
concern.
there are some
Here,
machines.
I will say
The machine we rode, yeah, I mean it's clear.
It
the,
was
the
stock.
machine. It was stock. Yeah, compared to what you and I ride at our kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things going on.
Are the Honda 90s, are they kind of like the LT80s where they're like you'll just get that one-off LT80 where it's just
Unbelievable.
that thing just screams,
No,
man.
I mean that really was the thing in the LT80 world. Like
Dude,
the
like
white
you
the
would get a
white
hold of
LT80
one.
machine.
Yeah, the number 9 bike.
The number 9 bike won like 9 championships
Yeah.
in a row. Just one person after
Yeah.
another would buy it. They say, "Hey, just grease the clutches, freshen it."
Grease the clutches.
No, that's seriously.
And it had a stock pipe.
it had a stock
Don't
pipe.
change the pipe.
So
I remember that.
funny thing, so we were like championship 8 or 9 on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one of the final ones. No, it was the final one, and so we bought it. And we're like, we just want to stack up the championships. So we're getting protested at Pine Lake. It has stock pipe on it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, it's missing the bolt. Like I don't know, it's a spark rester thing or whatever. And we're on the line. They're going to protest us. So Dad just scrambles around and gets some like big old long bolt like this, like literally like a foot long, and shoves it in there. So I race it holding that. I reach back there and just hold it in the exhaust under it and just pin it. Still win.
Still,
I mean, it's
actually made it faster. Yeah, we had an exhaust
it's like,
leak.
yeah, here we go. Here's the bolt. I know I held it in that
hilarious.
exhaust the whole time. But that's how much of advantage that machine was. And we sold that machine. We said the same thing the people before us said as well. All you do every race, you put the blue grease on there and rebuild it once a year. Don't do anything else.
Yeah.
People who bought it, they're like, we're going to get a little extra out of it. Nope. Destroyed it.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, listen to us. This thing's a 9-time champion with 9 different riders. Just
How much more can you prove it?
just
Yeah.
ride the thing, you know, ride it. But anyway, they
What's
didn't-
crazy is I know Cooper's 90 is stock. I know that. And then we get on the one we rode, Cole's or Kiefer's, and I was like, this isn't good. I mean, it's got a stock pipe, you know, air quote stock, but I'm like,
yeah.
these things will fly. And it was fun. So that
All
was
right,
always a
so
good time.
before I derailed the conversation,
Yep.
I was going to give a little bit of shout out to Aaron Medlin for winning the adult 90 Pro
Yeah.
class stock, not stock. That's to be determined on that. But CJ Robson, he's a man. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a man on a mission. Like
Absolutely.
you can't count on 2 hands how many championships he's won now.
That
He's
is true.
7, 8, 9.
Well, it was 7
10,
last year. And
yeah.
he got 5 more this year.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, too many now. That's
many.
12
When,
times.
when you win everything to be had, it's they rack up quick.
Hey, but one of the things that you know, CJ started off the year super strong, and I'd love to. We're got something up our sleeve there. I want to ask him about this, but he started off the season strong. I mean, just win, maybe a second win. You know, and then I don't remember if it was Owasso. I think it was the second weekend of Owasso. Just kind of didn't go as well, and then Pine Lake, and then it was, and I say didn't go as well. He got a couple, like a second and a third. Like he's still on the box, I mean, still really, really, really impressive. And then the wet one there at Ashtabula, didn't get any wins, and then he comes out swinging. I think he'd already wrapped up that Hoosier class championship.
Yeah,
gets a 5th with 2 wins, and I'm just like, dude, he's just next level, man.
He is.
Yeah.
He
And there's some pictures of him riding, and the bike is just all out of sorts, and he's just calm and cool, no big deal.
Oh,
yeah. He does have some sick photos out there and stuff for sure.
He for sure does. But man, good time. And what's cool is CJ's just one of those guys. You can just walk up and talk to him. He's just a normal guy, and it's cool. I know there's several of the youth guys that really look up to him, and he'll if they've got questions, he'll ask and help them out and stuff. So really, really, really cool. But I think, dude, next year's going to be wild, because as good as it was this year and kind of towards the end of the season, CJ's just building. Well, the other guys are really starting to put their programs together. Dude, Tyler King, they made a few little power plant changes, and dude, that he was screaming at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm super pumped to see what 25 has in store.
Absolutely.
So many good classes.
Every year that him and Jace White get a little bit older, they're going to come, into their prime. They're in that early phase, which we obviously see that CJ has moved into that, but they're definitely going to challenge him. They're going to make his job tougher next year. I mean, the guy's got it going on, and he'll respond to it, but those two guys right there are really, really, really going to challenge. And you can't throw Brad out of the mix. I mean, he is super consistent, and, he's lurking. Like, if CJ makes a mistake, if one of these guys make a mistake, Brad, maybe he might just get the opportunity to jump back out there and get him another win as well. So, as far as the championship,
it's going to be fun to really pay attention to.
So, guys,
hit me.
Sorry, I was looking at the outline and just kind of thinking at the same time, and then I just started talking and interrupted you.
Go for it.
But what was, for the EDT racing year of 2024? What was your highlight of the year? What's the thing that we learned the most this season that really jumped out to you, really got your attention, or maybe it's a group of things, but What was really, if you could sum up the 2024 season in your eyes, hit it?
That is a great question. Do you have one? Can you give us a second to think?
I have quite a few, actually. I mean, first and foremost, the Youth All-Star, the Super Mini class.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a huge fan of the 200-400 class, which is phenomenal as well. But these two classes right here really captivated me this year. One, to kind of look to the future of our sport and where it's going, but to see, 8, 9, 10 boys, soon to be men, that were just out there competing on all these different machines, showing that there's not one setup, as Super D pointed out, that, there's not the setup. Right. They've got all these different combos of these machines, and they're just going at it. So I really, all year, that just kind of had my eye. Just seeing the raw speed that these kids had. They come off the track, they're good buddies, they're hanging out, they're having a good time. And it just kind of took me back to the good old days, if you will. Those were the days, for me, the 90-mod days that really just I made those greatest memories. Like, I just loved those days. You were going incredibly fast and doing some incredible things, but you really didn't even think about it.
No.
Like, you're just out there competing with your buddies. You get done with the races, you go hang out.
Go jump on a pit bike or
go swim, whatever.
They jump on TRX 90s now.
They jump on TRX 90s.
They're everywhere.
But really, that right there for the season just showed me that the future of the sport is great, and that's the roots. That's really the core of what it is. We all aspire to be the pro. Like, we want to be the top guy, and you need to have that drive to continue to work towards that, but don't miss the memories. Don't miss the stuff that really captivates you in the sport. And that's the family that's there and those youth days, man. those are the best of days. So that's really, for me, there's a lot of things I think you could say, but for me, that was definitely the thing that I kept going back to all of 2024. So, shout out to Jackson Burchett and Corbin Beasley for getting those championships. But for the guys that didn't, man, keep grinding, keep having fun. You guys are shredding it. You got a bright future ahead of you, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for 2025. I'm already ready for it to see what's going to go down in those classes.
Couldn't agree more, man. From the get-go, I just think seeing, kind of when I stepped away from, TT racing in 2007, 8, somewhere in there, it just kind of felt like it was on a little bit of a lull, kind of a decline. And, man, just seeing – actually going to Pine Lake and going to Dresden and seeing the entries and the people that are turning out, I'm like, man, this is we're doing really, really, really good, and to see some new faces coming around, and it's always cool to see guys like Chucky and Brad that are still doing it and making it happen. Man, I think that's cool. I hope more families will get plugged in and get connected because, dude, there's nothing. Even the whole time we were at Ironman, I was just like, dude, Landon, there's nothing better than being at the races.
Absolutely.
Just you don't have a care in the world. You get to hang out and visit with your buddies and meet some new people. It was awesome, man. So I love it, man. I think that's a great question for as we kind of jump in here to the off season, and I'm excited to see what some of these players bring to the table for 25, man. I think those opening rounds are going to be straight fire.
Absolutely.
That's what the youths are saying right now. Straight fire.
Straight fire.
Yeah.
That's smacking.
That's smacking.
Yeah. Definitely not.
No cap.
Yeah. No cap. Definitely not mid.
No. That's good.
All right. So what about you guys? Did I just still?
Man, I think you just blanketed all of it.
Yeah. You just can't back that up, huh?
Man, like I said though, it's with all these classes and the youth. I think we're in a great spot, headed to the future. We got some good things to come, I think.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we got the banquet that's coming up on Saturday, November the 23rd. There in PA, and I am hearing about some cool surprises coming for the specialty awards.
Ooh!
So a little birdie whispered in my ear and said, "There's some exciting awards coming." And I said, "I would like to have one of those something specials."
Oh, really?
Super cool, yeah. So excited to see those people get awarded and get that special surprise coming up here in just, I don't know, a week and a half now. I mean, we're not far out. We're here November 12th, so we're rocking and rolling through the 2024. Hey, Super D, how about we catch a little bit of a break?
Okay.
And then we'll pick up with a little bit of closing and talk about picking up your cross, being a disciple, and following Jesus.
All right. Sounds good. Well, y'all stay with us, and we'll be right back. All right. Back from a little break here. We probably should have took one of those, 30 minutes ago. But
well,
anyway,
we got to rolling,
Yeah. It was good stuff, man. Fun episode. Number 50. Oh, by the way, I used to be number 59. I forgot to say this off the top. One of the guys that helped us do a lot when we were up and coming, his name was Johnny Deaton. He was
indeed.
Johnny had some crazy off the wall ideas, and what's crazy is some of them worked and some of them were a complete miss. But he's like, "Hey, let's try it and see what happens." So shout out to Johnny. He helped us out a lot, because there was a lot of times it's like, I have no idea how to put this transmission together, and he was just super mechanical. He's like, I'll figure it out. So he loved it. He hooked us up, but he had. It was originally built for Keith Little. It was a roll design Lobo chassis. that Keith raced. You can go back. It would have been this would have been his Nax bike from like 2000, 2001. He was number 6. Anyways, we ended up with that chassis. I think when we got it, it was still set up for a 250R, but it didn't have a motor. It's just the chassis. And so Johnny had toyed around with some different motors, ended up with, at the time, the newest CRF, which would have been 06, 07 model, something like that. And, man, it was so good. That was a great – I mean, that foiler was built and designed for TT racing, you know, and Keith made it look good, and it kind of changed some hands a couple of times. But, man, it was absolutely – we should have never sold it. I wish we still had it, man.
Keith made many of those machines look good.
Yes.
And all the machines he rode were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, had a lot of hands in on those machines, maybe not a lot, but a lot of man hours in lightening the machine and just really working those chassis over.
Yeah.
Keith definitely had
And
some
he was-
cool machines.
And he was meticulous on maintenance and just make it, take care of your stuff. Show up to the track and look like you've been there before.
Every one of his riding schools, that's, one of the first things that you would go over is how to take care of your machine and how to maintenance it and how to go over it.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. So I always tried to, every opportunity that I got to mentor, do a riding school or something like that, I would kind of follow that same format of, hey, taking care of your machine is crucial. I mean, if the pivot bolt's loose, for one, I mean, it's dangerous. But for two, the chassis is going to handle totally different.
Yeah.
So
she's going to have some weird flex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, those things are definitely important. And, Keith was one of those fun guys to follow. But speaking of following, we'll get over a little bit to our Jesus talk here. We talk about having that relationship with Jesus, following Jesus. We use terms like being a disciple. What all does that exactly mean? I mean, I think to us that have been doing the thing for a while, have been in the Word, it's kind of a normal thing that we throw around. But, Jesus, like, we don't see him physically. Like, we're not just right here following him around. And same way with disciple. We don't use the term disciple in our everyday terminology. In the church we do, that we should disciple people and teach. But disciple simply means a follower. To sort of follow Jesus means what, Super D? Like, when we're told to follow Jesus, I mean, we have examples of how he walked this earth when we're in the Word. But what does it look like to follow Jesus on the reg, on the daily?
On the reg, I like that. That's a good use of the word, man. That was good. No, and this is something, like in my role, in my job, is to encourage young people to do that. Like, what does that look like? And I think a lot of times they think, oh man, I just got to follow these rules. Like, I can't have fun. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm sorry that somewhere along the way a teacher or a parent or someone has made you feel that way, but that's not what it's like at all. I mean, I think that there's kind of like rails for a reason, to keep you safe. But following Jesus is about one, understanding, like, most importantly, like that there was a Savior that loved and created you on purpose for a purpose. And I think that's something that even with my students, I think that they deal with a lot, is just understanding, like, why am I the way I am? Why do I like this? Why am I not good at this thing, but it seems to come easy to everybody else? I can remember asking those questions when I was a student. But I think it's just first and foremost knowing that I was created on purpose for a purpose, and that person that created me is Jesus, and he wants to have a personal friendship with you like you've never had before, and wants to be there even when everyone else will leave you high and dry. There is one that will always be there, and in order to have that friendship, that relationship, you have to spend time together. So in order to do that, there has to be like a follower and a leader. And Jesus set the most perfect example for us, is that he kind of put himself second and put the people around him first, and tried to meet their needs and be there for them, and be someone they could turn to. But also, like, when they were having a great day, to go, hey man, I'm proud and I'm pumped for you for doing whatever it is you did. So I think that's a great question and something we should, revisit often. Like, hey, what does that mean? What does that look like? And I think it's trying to make life less about you and more about the people around you, and then doing that the way that Jesus did. And you can learn all about it. If you don't want to dive into the whole book, the first four books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, out of God's holy word is a great place to learn and read about our man. He's all over it.
I've been studying in Luke and really enjoy, his Gentile physician point of view. Yeah. So I've really taken a liking to definitely studying Luke and getting his perspective of following Jesus. Super cool. But just to kind of recap a little bit of what I've heard you say, Super D. So, that confusion of religion or following Jesus is not legalism. It's not a set of laws or rules that we have to follow.
And I feel like there was a time where that's how the message was communicated. It's like there's these things that have the potential to lead to sinful actions. Therefore, don't do any of this. There was don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and it's like, man, that sounds really legalistic, you know?
And that's not what Jesus came preaching at all. No. We see him, he came and hung out with the ragtags, like the people who were outcasts, who were rebels, who were considered the most sinners, if we put a scale on it, that'd be the bad people of our time. Yeah. And that's who he hung out with, because he said he didn't come to save righteous people, the people that felt that they could quote unquote do it, follow those laws. It's actually, really freeing, and it's hard to describe at times, but it's freeing when you follow Jesus and realize, hey, the whole reason he came wasn't for himself.
Right.
It was for you and I. It was for each one of us. It was for the world, but it was for us personally as well. Like he laid down his life, but he always put others in front of himself. And that the only two commands he gave us the whole time. He didn't give us this set of rules and laws. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind. So to do that, he wants us to not live a life of sin, but take on his holiness. And second, to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, neighbor's not just a person who lives down the street, but it's the people you rub shoulders with. It's the people you're with all the time. Like, meet those people's need in whatever manner that is. So I like how you really put that, meet the need of others and celebrate others, like celebrate the victories that others have. And it really, as you follow Jesus and the Holy Spirit changes you within, as wild and as crazy as that is, and don't know how to experience this at times, it really does change your perspective on how you experience life and how you go about it. And it takes me back to, I always think of Paul, and he's when he's speaking of being content, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. But the example prior to that is like whether he's at a feast, he's as full as he can be, he's with a lot of people, or he's starving to death, or if he's got all the money in the world, or he's broke, dead broke, if he's getting beat, or, whatever. It's just being content is knowing God has made you on purpose for a purpose. Yeah. And just living that out and saying, hey, what can I do for other people? What would Jesus do, as the WWJD thing was a long time ago? But definitely don't get wrapped up in that false teaching that religion and following Jesus is a set of rules. And if you disobey those rules, like, the wrath's crashing down on you. I mean, God will pour out his wrath if you don't follow Jesus. There is that line, but once you're a follower of Jesus, like, we're not going to do the thing perfect. I mean, that is impossible, because it's nothing really that we can do in of ourselves except choose every day to follow him and do life the way he did life. Yeah. So it's super cool.
I agree, man. And it's, like I said, anytime I get the opportunity to speak, whether it's at a school or at EDT church or even here, where I'm employed, I just want people to know that, like, hey, the world is trying to tell you who you are, and if you want to be successful, you need to wear this brand or have this brand of shocks, or you got to run this gear or whatever. And it's like, that has nothing to do with it, man. No. God created you on purpose for a purpose. He doesn't make junk. He doesn't make mistakes. And however you're wired, whatever the thing is, like, we're wired for ATV racing, which is so weird talking to people that aren't in this, and they're just like, "What?
That's a thing?"
Yeah, y'all like
talking about?
Like, do you load your deer on the back and then race like that type of ATV? And I'm like, no, it's sport quads. What's what's a quad? You know, and it's just all these things, and it just sounds weird. But whatever it is, whatever gets you going, just do that for Jesus. You know, that's what I tell the students all the time. Not all of you are going to be great football players, even though you're all on the football team, or not all of you are going to be great singers, because I hear you on Sundays and Wednesdays, and that is not your gift, okay? So you're going to have to find another lane, you know? But just whatever it is, you know, do that. And I kind of think that's, you know, and you've shared this before, Mitch, your story, like, hey, I'm going back to this racing thing. I get hurt. I had this church thing going. Now I can't do that. You know, this is where I get, you know, I kind of get pulled in. Couldn't be more excited about it. And that's, I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing now, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're the #1 EDT podcast in the world.
Isn't that just amazing? God
Absolutely.
has a
You should have been in
plan.
the industry class.
I should. I know. Next year.
You could have raced with Ryan Villapoto.
Could have raced. I could have beat.
Like,
I mean, you did beat him, but
Yeah.
Who's
I
counting?
mean, Villapoto was like, is that Super D?
Oh, yeah. Is that the
He probably
#1
was.
ED channel
He's gotta be.
podcast co-host?
Yeah. Hey, but you did mention EDT Church, man. What a blessing. Awesome. I want to give a shout out to all the guys, because this is phenomenal. EDT Church happened at every race this year.
That's
and
cool.
Thankful
Very
for
cool.
these guys. Your
Yep.
dad,
Yep.
Papa Bear,
Papa
stepped
Bear.
up.
Yep.
You, Super D, Kevin Allen, Dylan Cruisenberry, all did some Midwest stuff. And then Eric Ashcraft, we had Quinn Michaels step up, and Larry Martin step up as well and help out with EDT Church over in the NE world. So we're going to keep the thing going. I'm really
Super cool.
appreciative
Yep.
of those guys for stepping up and making that happen. Just awesome to be able to fellowship with your fellow racers, man, because that's what we're all about here at Remaining in the Race.
Yep. More to come, man. Should be good. Well, got anything else you want to know? Oh, one cause for concern. Wrapping up. This is it. This is my final one. But young riders, young racers, we're moving into the 25 season. You get a pass for 24. Okay, but going into 2025, cane brake, holler at Kenny Bullington. He'll hook you up. Cane brake regular. When you go to post, social media is a part of our lives and in this world. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I will be honest, I do not do a good job. That kind of my role in the podcast relationship here is, hey man, just keep stuff posted on social media. I try to do my best. You jump in from time to time. I mean,
we've been taking a social media diet. That's what it is.
Golly,
you know,
I am so bad about posting stuff. Like if you see something, I sat down and posted out like 2 weeks worth of stuff and just programmed it, you know, because I'm just bad about it, and I'm sorry. So, but to give your sponsors and your team and to kind of help build your brand, once the race is over, and it doesn't have to be like as soon as you come off the track, man, it could be the next day, but get your race report out. Say, hey man, this weekend, yesterday we were wherever. Don't be waiting a week. Don't be waiting 3 weeks, because people are like, oh, when was that? Oh, that's from, you know, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So,
and okay.
it's not life or death. It's just,
it's
just a personal thing.
I
for me.
100% agree. You need to shout out your sponsors. You need to tag them. And, you know, so if it wasn't the great weekend, maybe you didn't go 1-1-1 for the weekend. Maybe you had a DNF, you know, but just.
What's the most important thing, though? It's not the race.
You had fun.
You had fun, and you're being the person God called you to be.
That's right.
That's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
So some people are going to need.
Sorry,
more,
I derailed you, man.
No,
you were like, what?
what? I'm like, where are you even going? Some people might need to make more than 24 hours to let those emotions kind of calm down.
Totally understand.
You know,
no problem.
You know, sometimes you got to do it. You come out of the racetrack and things didn't go the way you planned, and that race recap.
Oh boy.
Well,
No, we don't want your race crap. Now we do want your race recap.
Your race recap might be the last thing.
Yeah, that
I
sounded
can't
like
even talk.
that sounded like what happened to Landon and I after we ate Moe's on the way to. Boy, it was not good. We need to end this thing. It's getting late.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah. Well, hey, how about you close us out, brother?
All right.
And let's jump this jump.
God, we thank you for loving us. We thank you that you created us on purpose, for purpose. Help us each day to follow you faithfully, that we would be the people that you want us to be, and we live the life the way you designed it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, hey, that's a wrap on 59, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for listening.